before I get started, I just wanted to give you some objectives of things that you want to get out of our talk today. So the objectives are for you to learn the usefulness of knowing your love language and your partner's or your children's love language, learn the difference between the 5 love languages, and learn to speak your partner's love language or your children's love language. So when we are born, or while we're growing up with our parents, we usually learn a native tongue. We usually learn our first language that we speak. Usually, your language might be English, Spanish, Mandarin, etc. So sometimes you might get married to someone that doesn't speak the same language as you. Same is with the love languages. Sometimes you might speak a certain love language and your loved one might speak another love language. So it would be as if you're speaking Spanish and your loved one is speaking English, and you guys are not really understanding what each other is saying. Sometimes that happens in love. That happens too. So a love language is how we give and receive love, how we like to give it and receive it. We get that love language usually from our parents or from our upbringing. And most couples, surprisingly, do not speak the same love language. That is why it's important for you to learn to speak your partner's love language and for your partner to learn to speak your love language. So when talking about love languages and about learning to speak a love language that my partner can understand, it's more about love, not so much about comfort. So a lot of times we might sit with what we're used to and how we're used to showing our love, and at the same time that might not be how your loved one understands it. So love languages are important because they help us understand how we like to be loved, and they help us recognize how other people like to receive and give love. So sometimes your partner might be showing you love in some way that you're not really getting, because that's not how you prefer to receive love. So the first love language that I'm going to talk about today is words of affirmation. So for people that speak this love language, words speak louder than actions. So and I love you goes a lot further than does doing something for that person. So hearing the reasons behind the love actually helps these people feel really good. And on the same token, insults can leave someone whose love language is words of affirmation feeling shattered and might not be easily forgotten. So a way to show love to someone that likes words of affirmation is using verbal compliments, or words of appreciation are also powerful. So there are 3 different kinds of words of affirmation. You got your encouraging words, which encouraging words mean to inspire courage. So we all feel insecure in some kind of way. We all sometimes might not feel comfortable doing certain things. Encouraging words are words that are going to help that person feel empowered to do whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish in that moment. So, I'm here for you, you got this. Words like, I believe in you, can be very encouraging or can be very important for people whose love language is words of affirmation. So the next kind of words that are also helpful with someone that likes to hear words of affirmation are kind words. So, being kind verbally to each other. So, using I love you, using kindness and tenderness can be a genuine expression of love. And the last one are humble words. So love makes requests, not demands. So you don't want to do ultimatums. Marriage or a partnership is where both of you are equal. There's no one's priorities are more important than the other person's. So it's important to make your needs known in form of a request, not as an ultimatum or an order. Not so you don't want to be telling your partner, if you love me, you'll do this, or if this is how you show me that you love me, or this is how you earn this from me. So that's how you mainly want to be with a partner that speaks this language. So what if your partner uses this love language? What if words of affirmation is your partner's love language? It can be helpful for you to set a goal to give your spouse a different compliment each day for a month. So then you can get used to using this love language if that's not the language that you speak. Remember that when talking about love languages, it's more about love than it is about comfort. Even if you're feeling uncomfortable, that's normal. You're not used to doing something different. It's more about building that intimacy between you and your partner. Or if your children speak a different love language, it's more about building that intimacy and that trust with that person that you're trying to get closer to. Our second love language is acts of service. Acts of service means doing something for your partner that lowers their burden or their responsibility. So if your partner is really busy that day and they have a lot of errands to run, telling them, hey, let me do this errand for you, goes a long way. This can help that person feel very important and very cared for. So people who speak this love language show their love through helping their partners or doing things for them. So it's important for them to hear words like, let me help you, let me do that for you. On the same token, broken promises or doing things without really wanting to do them, like you're doing it but you're like, fine, I'll do it, also can be very hurtful to this person, because that's not really coming, you're not showing that it's coming from your heart. And I know I said this a lot before, but again, this is not about comfort. This is about love. This is about showing that you really care about the person that is important for you. So how do you show somebody that, like if your partner speaks this love language, how can you get more used to speaking their language if their language is acts of service? So sometimes our partners ask us to do things, and they may ask us repeatedly. So sometimes we label this as nagging. Oh, they're nagging me about this. Oh, they nag me so much. So instead of looking at it as them nagging, look at it as a tag. They're tagging a task that's important for them. So if I do this for them, I'm actually showing them that I love them. So it's not them being annoying, it's them showing me or guiding me in how to be a better partner for them. So so that's a good way to reframe, when your partner wants you to do certain things. Make sure that the things that you're signing up for are things that you can actually do, because you don't want to, not come through for them, because that could be hurtful. And also, of course, not making them work more. So if you and your partner live together, so kind of doing your own end, like, picking up after yourself, not leaving everything for them, because that also might show them that, they might not be as important to you as they would like. The third love language is gifts. So some people like to show their love by giving and receiving gifts. So the gift love language is not to be mistaken with materialism. It's not about the gift itself, but about the thought behind the gift. So the giver and receiver of gifts, they thrive off the intention and love behind the gift. So if you give them something that they've been wanting, or something that really means a lot to them, let's say they have a pet and you bought them something for their pet, that's gonna mean more to them than a diamond ring, because that's, you're showing them that you really know them and that you really care about their interests. So on that same token, for the person that likes to give and receive gifts, a missed birthday, an anniversary, or a thoughtless gift, like a gift that you bought in a hurry, can be hurtful to this person, because it shows that you're not really thinking about them, and for them it means that you might not care about them as much as, for example, they care about you. Another thing that you want to know is that the absence of everyday gestures, so the absence of, doing things for them. Gifts not always have to be material. So, being there for them when they need you, when they need to talk about something, or if someone is having an emergency, showing up for them. The absence of that can also be perceived as hurtful by, people that like to speak the gift love language. If your partner, before I move on to the, if your partner speaks this language, a gift for these people is a symbol that they're being thought of. So this is how you're demonstrating that you think about them and that you love them. So if your partner speaks this language, how do you practice it? Whenever your partner sees something that they like, or they're like, oh, I want this, or oh, I love this, keep a little idea notebook. So write it down somewhere, where they're not going to see it, so it can be a surprise. But keep write it down somewhere. And when the time to give them a gift comes, you can, go to your idea notebook and buy something from there, and then that'll show that you're being thoughtful. If you have a really good memory and you can just remember it, that's great. If not, there's, no shame on keeping a notebook and, keeping a little list of things that you can give your partner. Our fourth love language is quality time. So not for these people who appreciate quality time, nothing says I love you like full and divided attention. So for these people, you spending time with them and just them is a strong communicator for love. What do they mean by quality time? Quality time means we're together talking to each other versus we're together watching a movie. That's not really quality time for people whose love language is quality time. Quality time is we're actually spending time with each other, we're focused on each other, we're present with each other, and not we're eating dinner but we're on our phone at the same time. That's not really a definition of quality time. So again, time spent in conversation and getting to know each other is very important for the person that speaks this love language. If your partner speaks this love language and you're distracted with the TV while they're trying to talk to you, or you guys made plans and you had to cancel, or not really listening to them, like if you're having a conversation and you're not really listening to them, this can be very hurtful for these people, because it means that you're not showing them your full and divided attention. So what if your partner speaks this love language? Ask your partner about 5 things that they want to do with you, and make sure, and then you can schedule 1 activity per month for the next 5 months, and then you guys can have a date and a way to spend quality time together, at least once a month. This gives you the opportunity to get used to your partner's love language, and also gives them the opportunity to feel loved and like you're trying to speak their language, because it's important to get to know your partner and what they like and what they believe, what's important to them, to be able to show them that you care. This helps, the love languages help us build, like I said before, intimacy with our partners, with our children, with with our friends, with people that are important to us. Our last love language is touch. Physical touch. So of course, with this love language, people are very touchy. And this love language is not all about sex. Of course, sex is important, but it's not everything. So people that like this love language are constantly, these are your huggers, people that are like, that are trying to hug you, the people that like to hold hands, the people that like to lean on you. For them, physical presence and accessibility are very important. So you being, available to give them a hug, touch them, touching their face, like caressing. These people like to receive that love and affection through touch, and they also show it. So these people that show their love language through touch are very sensitive to physical abuse and neglect. Having a partner that doesn't really like to hug, to hold hands, can be very unforgivable, especially with physical abuse, or it can be very destructive to the relationship. So I understand some people don't really like to be touched, and it might be like something that you have to build up with time. Make sure you communicate this to your partner. And also another thing that you can do to get more comfortable with touch, you don't necessarily have to be hugging all the time or holding hands or kissing all the time. You can, sit next to each other where your legs touch, or let your foot, like touch feet under the table, like touch your feet under the table. Maybe that can help you a little bit too, just to get used to feeling somebody touching you. I get it. Not all of us, are brought up in an environment where, hugging and kissing and holding for long periods of time or all the time it's acceptable or even, comfortable. But like I said previously, this is not so much about comfort. It's about building intimacy and showing love to your partner. So, sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone to be able to really connect with the people that we care about. So how do you find your style? In my slides, or you can go to this website, is the number 5lovelanguages.com/quizzes. That's where you can take a quiz. You can take a quiz. Your teenager can take a quiz. Your spouse can take a quiz. Your child can take a quiz. Anybody can take a quiz, and then they'll tell you what your love language is. And you can also, I have with me the book. This is the book, is the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. He's the one that, came up with this idea that we all love and like to be loved in different, different forms. Most of his information is in that website. That's his website, number 5, the 5lovelanguages.com. And most of it is for free. Some of it costs money, or you can buy the book. It's not very expensive. It's like $15. But this book is really good, and that's where you learn. I gave you why you mostly need to know about this information. But if you're interested in more information, this is something you can do.